Hey, it's the Scotch Test Dummies. I got a dog licking the heck out of my hand here off screen here. Whoop.
And that's not a euphemism.
No, that's not code.
The dog was really
The dog was licking the hand. It's not a mixed drink or anything. What? Are you leaning
forward? Because you keep encroaching.
Well, before, if I didn't lean forward, my head was getting cut off by the screen, so I was leaning forward like that. All right. So last Wednesday, we reviewed this flavored chocolate whiskey from Kings County, New York.
Kings County Distillery in New York. Brooklyn, New York.
So if you haven't seen that, go watch it now. We haven't even changed shirts.
We've got 2 bottles. They've got 3 releases that Kings County Distillery is doing. The chocolate flavored whiskey, the bourbon whiskey, and their moonshine.
Right.
So
we're not doing the shine.
This is the moonshine that's been filtered through cocoa beans. Go watch that video. This is a 45% ABV bourbon.
Right.
Aged less than 4 years. Now, they do something that I don't know that anybody else is doing, and they're aging.
Now, why less than 4 years? That could mean it's been aged 1.
That's what it, yeah, exactly.
So
it
why would
probably depends on they just want you to know it's been less than 4 years.
Okay.
They just want to put that right up front.
Huh.
Don't even think this is aged more than 4 years.
Gotcha. It could be 2 months.
Yep.
Okay.
But they do, I don't know that anybody else is doing, they're using 5-gallon casks.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And when you look online, I watched a little YouTube video on it, but they showed the aging room. Basically, there's just all these little 5-gallon casks just lined up and stacked up in this room. So, but what that does is a more intimate contact with the spirit to the wood and allows it to actually ages quicker.
Right. There's more surface area for, since there's a limited amount of alcohol, you have a higher percentage of the actual grain alcohol that's going to be mixing with the wood and going in and out and getting picking up those wood tannins and those flavors. So the smaller the barrel, the higher the surface area of the spirit to the wood. So ideally, it should pick up more of that wood cask aged finishing in a smaller sized barrel.
Yes.
Because the standard barrel, a hogshead, which does not actually mean the head of a hog, for those that have watched our old videos.
It's not the lid.
It's also not the lid. A hogshead's like a 55-gallon barrel. All right.
I thought it was even bigger than that.
I thought it was 55, but you know what? Occasionally, rarely, I'm wrong. Yeah. So I'm just going to say,
because a normal cask is 55 gallons, and I think a hogshead is a little bit bigger.
So maybe a hogshead slightly larger.
I think so.
Put it in the comments if you know how many gallons a hogshead holds.
It's more than 5.
Definitely more than 5.
I'm thinking it was online on that YouTube video that I watched that they say the majority of theirs is aged around 2 years.
Okay. Well, right off the bat with the nose, I get a sweet cinnamon. Sweet cinnamon nose.
Vanilla?
I do not get that.
Caramel?
I almost get like a corn mash with a sweet cinnamon. Kind of like a Red Hot. Those Red Hots you'd get as a kid. Do they even sell those anymore, those little Red Hots? They look like tiny little BBs almost. Yeah. Okay. You bought any recently?
I think it says on there, don't stick these up your nose. There's a little warning. The Surgeon General.
I think I knew not to do that.
It said sticking these up your nose may be hazardous to your health.
Probably frowned on ear canal.
Yeah, ear canal as well.
How do you get that out? Okay, what do you get on your nose?
Well, I've said a little vanilla, a little caramel. There's a little maple in there.
Wow. You're getting to have a good nose.
Yeah.
I didn't get all that.
I thought it was pretty, for something that's aged, that's as young as it is, there's a lot to it.
All right, now on the flavor, and again, we've tasted this, we've spent some time with this before we go on camera with it, so I'm going to be looking at my notes as well. I get a young, like corn alcohol flavor, but I also get a little hint of maltiness in there, and then a very pleasant coconut aftertaste. And I'm not a big fan of coconut, but I love the coconut aftertaste that I'll get from some bourbons. And Oh, I even read somewhere that the coconut's part of the wood maturation, so maybe it's picking that up in that smaller size casks. What do you got?
A surprisingly warm mouthfeel from it. Vanilla cream, a little bit of the maple. I get the oak.
I'll give you the cream. I definitely do get a little cream in there.
And a little bit of the caramel.
Do you get any coconut on the aftertaste?
No.
Okay. Little water. See if it changes it up. All right. For the nose, it actually brings it down a little bit less of the cinnamon. I almost get a little bit more of that oaky note. Nutmeg. Almost a little floral hint too that I can't quite peg. That's interesting. So with a drop of water, it does change significantly, for me at least on the nose.
I was surprised by it. If it is aged 2 years or around 2 years, it's the best young whiskey bourbon I've had.
I don't know.
I wouldn't be afraid to say that.
Okay. I mean, it's definitely Craft Distillers. There's some other Craft Distillers I like. I mean,
there's definitely more harsh stuff, young whiskey.
All right.
I think.
I haven't had enough craft distilled stuff yet. I'm still working on that. So I love all the craft distilleries that are popping up. It reminds me of when all the micro brewers were popping up in the 90s. And we're going to be seeing a lot, like hundreds of craft distillers popping up. And I'm excited about that. I'm really excited.
Well, I don't know that I'm as excited. I think you'll have, the thing is, though, out of those 100, you'll have 3 that will distance themselves from those.
I think we might even get into the thousands of craft distilleries. I think it's going to become popular. And
but I think only a small percentage of them are going to rise above the others.
Sure. It's like anything else. Whoever does it well. Here's the interesting thing, though. Talking about their chocolate one they did and their clear moonshine is, you know what? You're going to be aging some of your product. Some of your product's going to be sitting in there longer, although I like the fact that they're jumping that time frame with these smaller little casks. But in order to stay in business, they almost have to put out a clear, unless they got a lot of money backing, they have to put out like a clear spirit that they can turn to cash right away. And then they're doing this flavored one with the cocoa.
Well, I think it depends on the size of your operation and your bankroll.
Well, the bankroll. I think it's the bankroll is what the key is. If you've got a sizable bankroll, you can sit on your bourbon for 4 or 5, 6 years.
Exactly. Yeah. Otherwise, like you say, they've got to start putting stuff out. And I think that's a lot of these craft distillers don't have the bankroll, and they're putting stuff out, and it's not
right. They either do this,
the quality we expect,
or they will source their spirit from someone else. And then be putting that out while they're actually distilling and aging their spirit. I'm forgetting the name of the huge alcohol distributor. I'm blanking on the name. The one that everybody uses.
Diageo?
No. There's a local DPI, GPI. I'm blanking on it. They put out. They've even started doing their own caskings, I think. I saw.
Oh, really?
I think Mark Gillespie was talking about it. But so you're stuck either sourcing someone else's actual grain alcohol or buying from somebody that's willing to sell you something that's been in a barrel for a while you bring up your own stock, or you do what these guys are doing. So I love what these guys are doing, because I think what you will see, and again, you don't know which craft distiller is going to rise above, but you're going to start seeing stuff after a while that's been in a cask for 5 years or 4 years or even 3 years, and it's really, really exciting what's going on in the craft world. And that's why when you bought this, I'm not a fan of the flavors, but I understand why they're doing it, and it's exciting to see what's going on with this whole craft movement, craft distillery movement.
Yeah.
So
now, if you look online too, actually, Kings County Distillery won some awards just from their packaging, their bottle design, and the labeling that they do. It's so simplistic. So.
You know what this reminds me of? Whiskey Raj, one of our Twitter fans, when I met up with him in Pittsburgh, he had a few bottles like this that he was getting from distilleries that were clearly just meant for him to let owners of whiskey bars try or distributors, and it was handwritten on there, and he let me try some things out of that, and it was first of all, it was cool. So I do see where they're getting that, these 200 milliliter bottles.
But when I first saw it on the shelf at the liquor store, I thought it was some local farmer made his own mash you know, and distilled his own whiskey and brought it in. So, or maybe it was the Mennonites. I don't know.
Do they make? I don't think they do. All right, but from King County, I do like this. I scored it an 83. So I enjoy it. It's still young to me, but it's got some interesting flavors, and I think there's great things that are going to be coming from them.
Yeah, there's promise in there. I'm surprised that it's as young as it is. I think it's picked up good flavors. I gave it an 86.
All right, I like that coconut aftertaste. That one I really like that. I don't get that a lot, and when I do have it, I enjoy it. So, all right, Scotch it, you Scotch gods.
Cilantro. Dummies.